Hi there, welcome to the Noah Presgrove case. Today we're focusing back on Bumpass because number one, he has supposedly made a return, at least on YouTube, leaving the odd comment here and there on a previous video of mine. I'll be presenting that to you today. And number two is the theme of Noah Presgrove biting someone, self-defense and marks upon someone's hand, fist area, and it being infected in relation to Bumpass, which was originally pushed by some people and maybe Dina Rose to begin with. I want to reiterate things, bring it back together from what was once said to then the counterpoints and response from JJ himself, and then coming back to the latest discussions right now, which is on one of my videos a few days ago, because there were some people wondering what's the deal with the bite mark. Is it true? Is it false? Was it ever really debunked or cleared up? Well, I've got some material to share with you today, which may bring back into your memory of what happened and what went down, or maybe you've never seen it before. So it might be an opportunity to learn or put things into perspective. Other people may be thinking, why are we going here? Why are we talking about that? It's because some people are confused or don't know where things are at, and others may have forgotten. So there's no harm in bringing it back together, and hopefully in a slightly more polished way. It's like the video that I did yesterday, well, at least one of them, where it was to do with the Photoshop, proving it was not altered with, in that sense, cut and paste, because the two photos were two different ones taken at different times. And when I reposted it on Reddit to spread that awareness, there was a couple of cretins commenting, whinging and whining about, oh, scraping the barrel here for content. That is one of the most pathetic, subhuman-like type mentalities of a peasant presence, okay? It's all about doing a clean-up job along the way. Mess is created with time, on purpose, by accident, and somewhat in between. And if I can spread awareness, not to only just single-handedly keep a case alive on a particular platform, but to also make it easier for others along the way and people in the future that may come along and try researching this case, then I might as well do so. If I have the material and some knowledge, I might as well share it and make videos when I can. You know, others say, no, there's more important things to be doing or covering. At the end of the day, if you do your research, okay, on my channel, you will understand that I can spin multiple plates at once. Other people may fail to butter my buns at the same time with both hands. Oh, I don't know. But when it comes to doing videos, at least, yes, I can make a couple in a day. It's not always the best thing just because of the way YouTube responds. Basically, if you put more hard work in, YouTube punishes you, punishes me. So I've got to try and keep it low. And I know other people will talk about how, whoa, there's too many videos coming out. It's because there's so many discussions and posts coming about as well. And I'm trying to keep on top of it all. But I'm also doing separate videos on separate themes so it does not overlap too much. If I do a 6-hour-long video which brings everything together, it'll be a convoluted mess. And you try finding the timestamp of when something was said or a screenshot was shown on, on camera, it'd be so messy. I've got to cut it down bit by bit. At the end of the day, I am the doctor, correct? Dr. Raff. Walk into the surgery after a long appointment, maybe waiting room, get the scalpel, split it, separate it, look, analyze, make sense, compare, contrast, reinforce or debunk, and then later stitch it together with something else within the case to form that like storyboard with a better understanding. That's kind of like what I do to an extent. But that aside, some people on Reddit just fail to understand or grasp the concept, and people are so obsessed that as soon as the post is uploaded, people instantly hit the down like button and it's on 0 or on -2 dislikes. It's pretty sad and pathetic how people wait about in order to do that. I know at times it's happened on YouTube as well, but Reddit, a whole different place. I think what people need to understand, and it's not being cocky narcissistic, it's called warlike wrath. Basic fucking reality check. But when it comes to certain places, no disrespect to that Reddit page, because it was very good, very active in the past, and it helped a lot towards me. But with time, there's only so much people can do, say, and talk about. And for some months now, it's been very quiet. Fair enough, it is what it is. But I've single-handedly not only kept the case alive on YouTube, but I've single-handedly kept the case alive on Reddit as well. That's not being cocky, that's a valid observation. And for all the cretins that would complain and do complain, oh, this is a waste of time, this isn't needed, this isn't necessary. If I suddenly stopped and cut off, pulled the plug out in terms of sharing videos elsewhere, things would be a lot quieter and then people would be begging eventually. This is what the cycle is. And don't worry, we are focusing on JJ Bumpass today and the themes there with the comment section as well. That's what we'll start off with. But I just want to add in the patterns, cycles and trends when it comes to human behavior, such as with different cases like with YouTube, other platforms, true crime related, is that humans can complain and complain and complain. And finally, once they get what they want, supposedly, then they complain again. People that don't want coverage, people that think it's a waste of time. And as soon as that plug is pulled, they're like, no, we've got no one else. We need you back. Please come back. I'm not leaving to begin with, bitch. Okay? Locked in, consistent, somewhat frequent. I do what I can, and that's pretty much it. Okay? If you don't like it, just avoid it. Because such as with the Reddit page, there is an individual flair, an individual tag, a form of categorization relevant and specific to me and my channel, hence why I post there. Exactly. Can't be any complaints, really. Anyway, welcome to anyone watching right now in this live premiere and those lurking in the background. Feel free to share your thoughts, opinions, reactions in the live chat box on the right-hand side of the screen. And at the end of this video, if you do want to add on any additional thoughts, questions, counterpoints, whatever, drop a comment down below under this video. It will help with spreading awareness and keeping these videos going and helping others learn along the way, because people's comments can be very useful, hence today, which is an indirect viewer requested video. If you do want to support this channel, feel free to check out the pinned comment down below in the comment section by me with additional links. If you want to become a member on this page, or if you want to show support elsewhere, it's all there, all under control. If you simply want to catch up on recent videos of mine, top right corner where the I symbol is, if you click on that, you'll get the full playlist available on this case with all the videos that I've uploaded, and as well the recent videos that I've made. And there'll be like 3 or 4 of them available to watch. Be sure to check them out. You don't want to miss out. And 3 of the videos were made yesterday. Pretty full on, right? But big shout out to, everyone that was able to watch the videos and more so attend the live premieres, because in fairness, they were quite close together. Maybe I should have uploaded one earlier on in the day, morning time, then just after lunch and then evening. But because of time zone, and I know more people are from the US, if we did it later on in the day, UK time, it just would be more efficient, and it was. And the fact that people had time to be able to watch the videos to some extent, round 1, round 2, round 3, and consistently, it's beyond good. So that's all positive to see. Tonight, probably just 1 video, if pushing it 2, if there is time. But this might be the main one for today, because the more I was thinking about it, there's a lot more depth behind it, and there's more I can add on from my own point of view as well, like a theory-based one, just basing it off the murder concept. And I know not everybody will agree with it, but we just need to look at it today and rejog people's minds. So how we start off today is we look at the YouTube comment section, acknowledge the odd few other comments as well, which were interesting to me and stood out, and then you can see it for yourself if you've not already. And then we'll look at the main comment, which was probably one of the first ones to be posted. And the video in question where it comes on the conversations is actually about 4 days ago? It might be. The thumbnail being a red background, similar to one of the videos that I did yesterday. It just had different text over it. But with that being said, we need to focus in on JJ Bumpass, his presence, his supposed return, and the past references to him having bite marks at the hands of Noah Presgrove defending himself. What is going on? What went down at the time? Let's try and learn right now. Here we are. We've already got it adjusted to the newest, and we'll just acknowledge a few here. Warlike Raf, you're doing a good job still talking about Noah's case. Keep going. No one should get away with it. Whoever did this to Noah will answer to God. Yes, so appreciate that. Tanya, welcome to the channel. Appreciate what you say. Because that's what the important thing is. Whether it be an accident, murder, hit and run. Would a hit and run still be considered murder? Or does it come down to whether the hit and run was intentional or not, if that was the possible cause of death? Whether people say it was this or it was that, is it murder, yes or no? Isn't that like a simple question? I don't know if I could do that as a poll right now or on my channel, just to ask, for those that believe it's a straight up murder, okay, for those that believe it's a hit and run, do you agree that it's still murder, yes or no? There will be people in between that will say, well, it's somehow an accident, so it's not exactly murder. Would it come across as manslaughter then? See, I'm not an expert with all these terms, but, just to establish a level of understanding to see where people are at, even if it's opposition, one at each of us throats, is there anything everyone or close to everyone can agree with within this case? Just to establish some boundaries and foundations so it doesn't completely fall on itself. I think that would be good. Do we have anything else? Always stated that, okay, this was an interesting one. Daniel or Danielle, however you say the name, it's always stated that L.E. has a picture of him. Who's him? Noah, in the white shorts, but never that it was shared with Noah Presgrove's family. Anyone watching right now, have you ever heard this mentioned before? Is this the truth? I've never seen it or heard it worded like this, that the police have a picture of Noah wearing white shorts. How do you know, Daniel? My questions in response would be at what time and what location. That would be very important. If Noah is supposedly in the white shorts, such as after the side-by-side supposed rollover and the shower, that would tie in line with Jack Newton's story in a way about, oh, Noah had to borrow my white shorts because he didn't have any more of his own. What else do we have? Right, this was actually, I think, a good point by Crazy. Shout out to Crazy. They say, my only issue with Jack's timeline is that a lot of it is not his. If he went to bed when he said he did, a lot of the information he is sharing, he did not personally experience. That doesn't mean it's wrong or that he is lying. It just means it's not his timeline as experienced by him personally. Yeah. Well worded. This is exactly what's needed, this type of language. And it was worded that well that even Brooke didn't show too much resistance. Brooke did say, though, that's kind of like Caden Pressey too, though. He was supposedly asleep the entire time. But the thing is, with Caden Pressey's timeline, Caden Pressey was saying, oh, at 2 a.m, I went to sleep. At 2:42, I was woken up by a phone ringing. Well, that can genuinely happen. If you're asleep, you're going to miss out on what's going on around you. But if a noise startles you, you're going to wake up and then you're going to make notes of what's around you, your environment to some extent. With Jack Newton was straight up saying how he went to sleep at such and such a time and then he woke up at 5:50. Did not wake up in between, was not woken up whatsoever. But Caden Pressey was. And even if people don't agree with waking up at 5:15 by Jack storming on in with the news of Noah's death, I mean, Caden Pressey did say 42 minutes later, after going to sleep for the first time, he was woken up by his mum, Alicia Lee. He was woken up. Jack Newton, from his timeline, wasn't. So Jack missed out on a lot more things, what happened in between, from, let's say, 2 a.m. up to 5:53. Jack missed out on a lot, yet he still talks a lot and makes references to a range of different details and events in between. How would he know if he's asleep? Or was he sleepwalking? Oh, because he heard it from this person and that person and Carter Combs. Fair enough, as long as it's worded appropriately, there we go. But it's not uniquely exclusive to his timeline himself of what he witnessed or saw. With Caden Pressey's timeline, even if it can be a bit dodgy and inconsistent, it's based more so on what he supposedly saw and experienced. When it came to the side-by-side rollover, originally, Caden didn't really acknowledge it or mention much about it because he wasn't there to see it, because he said he was asleep. Fair enough. But he did say at a later point, maybe days later or so, one of the partygoers showed Caden a photo of Noah with a bloodied nose after the side-by-side rollover, and it was from a video as quoted by Caden. So Caden must be aware somehow that there is a video. Even if Jack Newton says there wasn't, how would Jack know if he was asleep? Oh, because he was told by somebody else, so it's not exclusive to his timeline. See, that's the thing. It's just interesting that whilst crazy is going on about Jack's timeline, it could be true, or it might not be. Who knows? He only knows so much, yet he talks a lot more when he shouldn't really. The more he talks is more so from what others have supposedly witnessed. So why can't those others do their timeline instead of it cropping over with Jack's? It's like cross-contamination in a way. With Caden Pressey's, quite a bit of what Caden Pressey was saying was from what he witnessed himself. At least to my knowledge of what I've covered on my channel, just understand that. 242 exclusive, or 243 exclusive to Caden Pressey because of when he was woken up by the phone call. 5:15, supposedly woken up again as what he witnessed. Then going to the highway himself physically and with others from what he first-hand witnessed. Then being told to go back to the party house, told off by the trucker. First-hand experience, went back, then sat down, witnessed the other guys going to sleep like nothing happened despite being upset. Things like that. Logan coming to sit down by the side of Caden and possibly talk whilst watching TV as a distraction. Then Caden not going to sleep from then onwards because just couldn't because of what's happened, but yet the other guys could. Waiting and present to watch Renee finally arrive, etc. A lot more first-hand experience from Caden Pressey's own point of view of what he supposedly saw at different times. And whilst you can say it's not consistent, at least it's first-hand accounts. Okay? From Jack's perspective, it's not all first-hand accounts or witness. That's a bit problematic. Some people could say, well, what Brooke Carter is doing here is a form of deflection to also not blame, but acknowledge that Caden Pressey isn't any better, or his timeline isn't any better compared to Jack's. I understand. It's very interesting, this. Just one comment like this, it goes a long way. I want to know your thoughts on it, though. Rules of evidence. Weird attachment to Noah. Oh yeah, there we go. We got this was where it was originally from. The Queen Cobra on somebody is buttering Warlight Raph's bun. I mean, let me just feel quickly. Are my buns buttered right now? No, but they feel rather firm and held quite well. Very comfortable. Thank you very much for asking. Yes, smooth texture. Anyway, moving on. Let's be careful to use critical thinking. Like I said, things can be altered now. Look at everything with a bit of skepticism. Therein you'll find balance. The importance is with skepticism as well. The endless possibilities of this being manipulated, that being done as a professional job to make it look like something else when it shouldn't be or it's not naturally. You've also got to be skeptical when even people you supposedly are supposed to look up to or trust say, "Trust me, bro." That's a cringy line. I don't normally use it, okay? But it's like a typical reference what they would say. Yeah, there's evidence out there. Okay. Oh yeah, the police have it. Oh yeah, the police have confirmed it. Okay. But it's one of those things where you've got to take their word for it, just in words. Not physical, not hard evidence, not official by police, no official statement by police online. And I know there'll be things that can't be done publicly. I get that, legal reasons and to protect the case and in the investigation. But you've also got to understand the balance of skepticism, even towards supposedly good standing individuals by the majority of people in the community, where you've just got to be a little bit patient and just a little bit cautious so you don't get too close to fire, you don't get burnt out down the line. Does that make sense? Hopefully. Whoever says side by side can't roll is an idiot. I have family friends who have died. Well, sorry to hear that. Shout out to Smooth Fishing, long-standing viewer, good individual. Really good to see that they're still present. So first-hand experience, majority of people do say that it can roll over. Brooke as well, it's been flipped. But Lisa is sticking to it, saying they cannot roll over on flat land. But if you was to go fast and you did a hard left or a hard right, and the momentum of the people inside of the vehicle as well, depending which way they leaned, it could cause it to flip. Think of the momentum as well. And furthermore, even if you were static and a vehicle was coming out of nowhere, ploughed into you, that could cause it to roll over. I mean, a side-by-side is not heavier than a bloody military tank, okay? Do we have anything else? I have family that sells them. They certainly can roll over, hence why they have roll bars. And then Lisa says, that is a good point. That is why they have roll bars. Wait, hold on. So originally, Lisa was confident and saying that side-by-sides cannot roll over. They cannot roll over. And then someone adds in saying, well, the reason they have roll bars is because the vehicles can roll over. And I guess the roll bars are to keep people inside or keep people firm so they don't move about too much or hurt themselves. And then Lisa's like, oh yeah, that's a good point, by the way. Yeah, they do have roll bars, just in case it does roll over. But by the way, man, they don't roll over. Oh, no. Anyway. Melanie, unfortunately, her comment was deleted by YouTube and supposedly a few other people as well. That is unfortunate. Who is it now? Is it the person called That Girl 1? They said something about, and correct me if I'm wrong, if I'm getting mixed up with the wrong person, but I'm sure That Girl said, not That Girl Mel, but the username That Girl number 1, that's someone else's username on YouTube, said, I believe, oh, why is my comment deleted but someone like Beth Carr's isn't? I don't know if that was like a reference to Warlike Ref. Why do you censor me but not Beth Carr? It might have not been referenced that way. It might be more so towards YouTube. But I just want to confirm once again, YouTube auto-deletes comments at random times. It's happened to me as well. There's been comments I've posted and they've not worked, they've not sent. Live chats, I've tried posting something, it did not work. So I pressed it many, many times and then there was lots of emojis being spammed last minute. It's a mess. AJ says, oh my goodness, Lisa has got to be the most ignorant person there is. Plenty of documentation about the side-by-side rollover at the time. Is there? Not to also mention the autopsy doesn't support him being punched in the face. Knows, okay, she said it from a reliable source. Yeah, right, idiot convention might be where she heard it. Authorities got photos and data straight off the phones and can tell if anything has been altered just a minute of Googling all the people that have been involved in the side-by-side rollover accidents. You know what would be nice if we actually knew who was in that side-by-side rollover besides Noah Presgrove? Because even that is a mystery itself, and it seems to be so difficult to find out who was the passengers. What else do we have here? Michael had some good points on the last podcast, but then people were bringing up his past. CC. And yet Caden Pressey was shown a screenshot of Noah Presgrove with the nosebleed he supposedly got from the rollover. Either they lied to Caden Pressey, or your assessment is full of shit because there would have been an injury to show for the nosebleed period. Interesting how Carter Combs, who was present when Noah was having the shower, Carter Combs said Noah was just dirty and that was it. No acknowledgement to a nosebleed or a damaged lip from like what I think Stevie Howard said at some point in the past. Interesting, isn't it? Why not acknowledge the slight injury? Why play it down as if, oh, it's just a bit of dirt and that's it? I mean, the mentality could be like, oh yeah, next time someone walks in with one leg, oh yeah, man, don't worry. He's going to make a full recovery. He'll be walking in no time, skipping along and all kinds of stuff. You know, he's got both legs. What? No, he hasn't. And what's in minimization at times? What else do we have? Just got to listen. Great one. Appreciate that, Robbie. That girl. All right, cool. So delete my comment twice, but let Beth's BS about me stay up. Yeah. So that was the one. So I did get it right. Brooke, great video. Appreciate that. TJ, another great video. Appreciate. Victor, you don't look like Noah Presgrove, but you could audition for Clark Kent, also known as Superman. Haha, there we go. So, yeah, on and off, there's been times where people have said that I'm supposedly, or look like Superman, whether that be the face or more so the build. That's positive. What else? Oh, yeah. If I were you, I wouldn't let them censor my work on videos. Put what you want, whatever you want. Them kids are getting away with murder. I mean, the thing is, you got to look at it long term. If bridges have burnt down over and over again amongst other people and it's got nowhere, and then evidence, material, or communication has been lost, you need at least one place of hope for it to continue on, even if it means terms and conditions that need to be met. As long as it doesn't get too restrictive and too ridiculous, it'll be fine. If the next restriction is, by the way, Warlike Raph, if you're going to cover this, we need to log into your YouTube account and we'll make the video ourselves. I'll be like, no, I don't think you'll be doing that. If the next condition is, yes, and what we'll need to do is take your big black whip away just in case for safety reasons. I'm like, no, you're not touching my big black whip. Hands off. Moving on. And I do actually mean a whip because you would have seen it yourself. That girl is very incorrect. These phones were not handed over immediately because Ellie had to wait for a court order to even get those phones due to all the lawyering up. What's this all about? Had plenty of time to show these videos, which they failed to do so, yet are now sending them to you, Ref. Suspicious. Yes, they were. Jack Newton's mum said they were like that the same day and there was no court order at the ODCR. They don't need a court order. Right. So there's counterpoints, and you can always read it yourself if you want to go further. What other reason as to why now would people be posting this or that or reaching out to me when I've been covering it since June 1st? Is it because people may have weighed it out and thought, you know what, Warlike Raph, we can finally see that balance. We can finally now trust someone like Raph, so now we will pass things on. But in the past, it was more a feeling out process. Could that be a possible delay? Or is the true delay more so to do with, as said, phones not being handed back? Depends how you look at it. If you've got counterpoints, you can always mention them down below. Jennifer Bentley claims that Ellie has a photo of Noah in white shorts. Why would Ellie be sharing evidence collected in an ongoing investigation with civilians? So another person talking about the white shorts. It was ever proven that Noah was wearing Jack's white wrestling shorts in an unaltered doctored video on the morning that he was killed. LE didn't share it. It's first-hand knowledge to those that are close to the families. Is that good enough then? Collected evidence? Makes zero sense. How is LE sharing something that is on the phone Whoever took the photo snap is obviously who has the real deal. Good grief, some of you people need to read up on a few things. Okay. You can always look at the comments if you want. Mainly, it's the bottom one. There we go. AF. Someone on here once commented that a guy had a bite mark on his hand that got infected after Noah was found. I don't know if anyone saw the bite mark personally or if it's just another rumour. And in response, Beth, I heard the same. I always believed someone hit Noah in the nose for it to be bleeding, but they didn't want Caden Pressey to know that, so they showed him a picture of a side-by-side on its side, in my opinion. But why would they have to go to such great lengths just to please or to butter up or, not butter up, pull the cotton wool over Caden Pressey's eyes? Of all people, why would, and who initiated it in the first place? Caden Pressey was shown a photo of a side-by-side rollover, or more so the after effects of one supposedly that may have took place. Did Caden Pressey reach out to that person and ask for a photo of proof? Or did that stranger reach out to Caden? Which way round was it? Who initiated the conversation? My response was, oh yeah, that was aimed towards JJ Bumpass. I keep spelling it wrong, apologies about that. I think, and avoiding to go to the doctors to get antibiotics. And then JJ responded on Facebook about it. And we'll go over that because I've got some screenshots as for reference. The mouth is so dirty, doctors say. What? A guy bit a girl near her eye, got so infected, spreading her eye area swelled up like a softball. Maybe biting is a last resort if you're being held down, outnumbered, or sat on by a fat person. Maybe. Toddlers usually get attacked by dogs because kids hug the dog too hard, too long, the dog can't breathe, and the dog's instinct is to survive, is to attack, to get loose and protect itself. Yeah, but then you get all the other times where dogs just run out because of useless owners, and then the dogs end up biting or ripping a child's face off just like that. And it happens here and there in the US and also in the UK. So it's a bit of everything at the end of the day. But at least thankfully I can say that I've not been attacked by any cats in my life, which is a positive. Same can't be said about dogs, but yeah, the cats, they show up out of nowhere, gang of them. Did he attack? Nope. Did he hiss? Nope. I guess I'm just the pussycat whisperer. Anyway, what else do we have? That was all debunked. I think that was Dina Rose lady, and then I think the family told her to back down. Is it true that Dina Rose has been told to back down? Not seen her since. Supposedly a lot of people got annoyed with her because of her capital letters and shouty tone. Yeah, that was all debunked. Oh yeah, it does it twice if you send or post a comment multiple times if it doesn't sound like it's working. Yeah, and that was that Dina Rose girl. She did come up with some wild stuff. What else do we have? I think he denied being there that day, but I could be mistaken. Maybe. I believe you are right, and along with Colton, who is SM and the Texas clan? Oh boy. Who knows who else was there that claimed not to be? Very bizarre over an accident. Like, I don't understand why any of the lies, if this were a friend of theirs, even an acquaintance, deserves justice. I wish they worked as hard as getting justice as they do lying and manipulation. Yes, in my opinion, for it to be so infected, maybe Noah, in my opinion, did not let go easily. I never heard it was properly debunked, man. Beth, that would all coincide with Caden Pressey being asleep when this all took place. I believe Noah paid dearly for that bite. Teresa, that's probably why he was asking for a ride home. Feds should be able to filter through all the lies and make an arrest by now. It's BS. They need an invite from cops that probably made mistakes in beginning of case on purpose. The case wouldn't be solved. Feds should take the lead with or without invite on murder and possible conspiracy. The bite was probably the last thing he had to defend himself and to get someone's DNA in his mouth, as smart as he was. Safia. So I was talking to Mark Scram a few months ago about Caden being asleep. I forget some of the details, but Mark said when there's hazing going on at a party, you sleep with one eye open. I never forget that. Maybe Caden wasn't really asleep. Right. When you say hazing, what does that mean? Drugs. Interesting. It's possible Caden was pretending to be asleep but aware of the fight going on. I think at the very least he heard what was going on and saw at least some of it. And that's what Safia suggests. Wow, possibilities. That Caden was faking being asleep. So he may know more than what he's letting on to the general public. Oh no. We'll see with time how that goes. Ron, I agree. Why was this possibility not checked out? Sometimes, oh yeah, that's just my responses. If Noah did, could the force be hard enough to break his tooth or teeth? And M, Noah's lip was split. So, if that happened, he may have cut his hand on Noah's teeth. And I think it was Travis Monson, not JJ Bumpass, with the infected hand, or say, one of the friends who is a nurse who was asked to get antibiotics for him. Okay. Well, let's shed a little bit light, on past conversations which involved JJ himself on Facebook defending him. Here we are with the first screenshot. This was on one of the Facebook pages. For possible more context, you'd have to go back onto one of my previous videos on my channel that documents it more in full, including other Facebook conversations. I just wanted to show you quick points and references to what was once said. I know it says 7 hours ago, but that doesn't mean like today. This is in the past. This is old, okay? Andrea Jubrov says, so to clarify, Dina Rose is putting out false information that Noah Presgrove bit you and you got infected. She's got 600 plus comments on her post of something that basically an embellished story about a beer bottle cut but calling out the wrong person. This is getting absolutely ridiculous that now they're pulling more random people into the drama. JJ Bumpass says correct. Andrea, damn, I'm sorry to see another person get dragged with no evidence to back it up. However, you've got the likes of Colton Newton, Jack Newton's older brother, that had confirmed that JJ Bumpass was at the party at some point because the phone pinged at the house. So there is that. What else do we have? Cindy Litterfield to Andrea. JJ Bumpass was there. There are photos to prove it. Right. Just as a reference point, is there anybody out there, even including Cindy, that has photos and proof that JJ was at the party and maybe the timestamp, the day as well? That would go a long way, that, if possible. Whether it be a direct selfie, a photo of him in the background, but clear enough to be able to identify him. Okay? Moving on. With the rest of the conversations, Shannon Scott said, for a second, I thought you were talking about Caden Pressey in these screenshots, but that is a different Caden. Surely you were not intentionally trying to mislead people with this post, were you? And JJ says, no. JJ Bumpass is referring to his friend, not Caden Pressey, but a different person called Caden Pecker. Shannon responds, people were thinking you were talking to Pressey in this, so just wanted to clarify. Thanks for clearing it up. So it's not Caden Pressey, but Caden Pecker. What else do we have? JJ. Not only did they remember the person incorrectly, it also was 2 months after Noah's passing, not directly after. Oh, what, the injury to the hand. So the wrong person was identified for getting the injury. It wasn't JJ, it was Pecker. And it was actually 2 months after Noah passing away. I think I've cleared that correctly. Julie, if everyone would have been honest in the first place, you wouldn't be under a spotlight. As it stands right now, every single one of your names are connected to a suspicious death, worldwide no less. I mean, at the end of the day, if people were present at the party house around the time of when Noah was walking away and his death onwards, you'd be a person of interest, so there would be genuine questioning here and there, no harm, if it's done correctly. And then we got this, an actual Facebook post by JJ and reactions by Vanessa Salazar and 14 others. JJ says, no, I did not show up to anyone's house with a bandage hand and claim it was from a beer bottle. Try again. It was another one of Caden Pecker's close friends, and they remembered it as me. Imagine that. Right, it was another one of... Okay. Well, we'll just look a bit closer. Me would be JJ. Caden would be Caden Pecker, not Pressy. Yo. Caden says, yo. JJ. After Noah Presgrove passed away, did you cut your hand on a beer bottle or some shit? Pressy's parents are saying showed up with a bandage on my hand and said it was from a beer bottle. Caden Pecker says, yeah, over at Gary's. Who's Gary? I don't know. Me. And I showed whoever, he said he thinks he remembers you cutting your hand on a bottle. Right, so that name that's blanked out, it ends in an N. Who could that be? Caden responds, yeah, but I was at Gary's crib. JJ responds, yeah, I know. It ain't related or nothing, just crazy that people running my name in the ground. I'm a screenshot. I'll scribble your name if you want. Well, the name wasn't scribbled, was it? But then again, maybe there was an understanding that didn't need to be. But that was the response at the time. Do people believe in it? Is it good enough? I want to know your thoughts. You can see why it comes in handy, me doing these standalone videos in the past, because I can always go back to them in the future when making reference points or resharing, reposting stuff with you, whether you've seen it before or not. You can let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. Is it good enough to believe that, well, case closed there? I think what you've got to put into perspective is, if it was Dina Rose that was leading the charge in the first place about the bite mark, it's probably not a good start already, considering their supposed track record of how they behaved onwards. And like with the car parking situation about JJ Bumpass with a murder video on his device, or somehow kids being at the car park, coming across JJ before that, then going back to their mom's parents, the kids telling them about, oh yeah, this guy had a footage of Noah's death or a guy's death being recorded. And yet JJ wasn't even in the city at the time of when it supposedly took place, and it was backed up by people that once didn't like JJ Bumpass, of all people. Crazy, isn't it, how the tables turn? But at the end of the day, there will be moments within this case and community where you might get people who are at each other's throats. But then someone even more stupid comes along and, no offence, mentions a silly thing about one of the two individuals, and it's that bad, it's that ridiculous to claim that the original two people that were having it in for each other and attacking one another are now actually supporting one another. That's when you know everything's effed up and going downhill. Going to maintain that consistency. Start pledging allegiance and switching and changing. Oh, no, no, no. That can go real wrong quick. And I don't know why the hell this camera is a little bit wonky today. But, you know, when things get this messy and it's a cluster, and like Melanie Fagan was getting at, that maybe make the case and the stories and the inconsistencies so ridiculous that it fills the air with confusion, stress, annoyance and frustration, that your head hurts, your ears ring, and you just don't know what to do, and you just want to bury your face into your hands like that and take a deep breath. You need a new scent. You need a new presence to fill that atmosphere. I can experience that right now. But how do I present it outwards to other people? What do you do at times like this when it gets too full, too much within the case? I guess you've just got to take a step back, not literally, not physically, but just take a step back and resort to common sense, even if it is an unpopular train of thought, an opinion. Use common sense to try and cut through the convoluted mess and see where that goes. And then from there on, I'll try and think of something else, okay? But there'll be ways around it. But of course, the longer the case goes on for, the longer and the more discussions with time, unless there is a stamina war where people lose stamina, it gets quieter, and whilst it might feel like a lost cause now and hopeless because it's quiet, the only positive you can take away from it is at least there's more breathing room, okay? The atmosphere can be really full of different presences, different people, different forces, dark, light, energy. You know, you could possibly almost smell it, possibly. People are starting to saying all the BS as well. Well, that would be unfortunate, wouldn't it? But at least here is quite clear and I can breathe. I'd be able to breathe right now and it's all fine, somewhat comfortable. But there is still a lot at hand to cover and acknowledge. So I do have video ideas and projects and I'll do them in a certain order, try and keep that under control. But in terms of the possibility of self-defense along the theory and concept of a possible murder, attack, ambush, whether Noah was prepared or not, if it was against multiple people on Noah, he wouldn't really stand a chance, would he? Was Noah ever in a dominant position where he might have had the upper hand and then it required more guys to jump on in and take him out? Who knows? If it is based off that concept, who would have landed the first shot, the first blow? Was it a cheap shot, side attack, face-to-face? Did it go from an argument, talking, to then full-out blown physical attacks, or was it straight up physical? And how long after the last event that may have taken place, if there's relevancy to it or not? The last event, the last known event from when Noah walked away east, supposedly. Last thing happening before that was the bedroom debacle, the sleeping situation. And I know Justin Roy always goes on about, if Caden could sleep on the floor Saturday night, why would he make such a big deal about it on Monday? Well, take in mind, there were other factors before that, being rejected when he wanted to go home. So rejection, 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 then the bed, rejected. Could have frustrated him just a little bit, but still. It's worth putting into perspective. What I would like to know is, based off that Snapchat photo, which shows Mikey Lair in a bed and Logan Jernigan next to Mikey, and then Jasmine on the other side, it's got to be one of the girls' beds, one of the girls that lived there at the time. Avery, Carter's, or Logan's. At least 3 different beds to choose from. Why would Mikey go from sleeping on one of the chairs in the living room to then upgrading to sleeping in one of the girls' beds when someone like Noah Presgrove, who was of an adult age, Mikey a minor at the time, but Noah of an adult age with other adults to an extent, I believe, and Noah being more popular and more known compared to Mikey, yet Noah was the one that was rejected when it came to sleeping in the beds, but Mikey was able to. Just let me know your thoughts about that, if there's anything of importance there or not. But if we're talking about self-defense, anything that involved biting someone's hand, probably because the attacker's hand was near to Noah's mouth to be able to reach in and bite. I can do a demonstration myself because I'm only biting my hand, but then again, I could possibly use somebody else's hand. Okay, ooh. Don't all rush at once, okay? I know you want to all reach out, yeah. I know what people want to do right now. You want to reach out, gotta be careful that I don't fall off here. Wait, people want to reach out, and you see that there? This is a pocket, okay? Not that deep, okay, Brooke? Yeah, not that deep. 5'10". Yeah, I'm sorry about that. I'm 6'2", but it's all under control. This pocket right here only goes in so far. I can fit my fist in and the wrist. That's about it. Anyone, gather up, put your hands out and put them on in, man. But that's not the main focus. Apologies. Whoa, the chair flipped. But it's fine. What I'm going to do, I'm just going to get a hand out of my drawers. I mean the drawer down there, because it's just a prop. This is the demonstration. So, let me just get out. There we go. Do we need this bastard out of the way? What I want to do, you got a hand here, okay? Not that it would be doing that at the time, I'm just resting it. Whew. Why am I so breathless? Need to do exercise again. Lower that down. If a hand is reaching out, okay, why is it shaking? If a hand is reaching out, underarm, this one, and it is on the shoulder, it's like pulling you, grabbing you whilst you're being punched, slapped, or other things being kicked. And you might, you know, lean in and like that, yeah. But not in a fun way, of course. You're biting someone's hand in hopes that they will release their grip off of you because you don't want them to be touching you in the first place. But the attacker's hand has to be higher up upper body in order for the person to reach in and bite the finger like that, or bite the side. I am biting plastic, so it doesn't taste too good. Biting the wrist depends whereabout on the hand, right? Whether it did or didn't happen with JJ's friend or one of JJ's friends that knows of someone else, but it did happen to them. And it was through like a beer bottle, and it was after the situation with Noah. Mum's not going to be that relevant, but if you to try and dial it back somehow as the possibility that it was somebody else, at least a person in a situation which could have been a murder theory, that Noah did bite someone's hand. Whereabout on the hand? Would it be biting the knuckle, like that? Biting there on top, get a good grip on the side. The thumb, like that. Because you've got to also understand that the hand and certain areas can be very bony. And you're biting down on that with some great force because you're that desperate that you want to break loose. It's going to be uncomfortable for yourself. Is the bite force enough to cause teeth to break, a tooth to crack, to become somewhat loose, besides other forms of injuries and attacks to the face? I want to know your thoughts. If a hand was put there on the chest, grabbing, can you bite down? No. I look disabled, but you see what I'm saying? When you're biting down, you can't reach in quite. If it's around the neck, getting choked like that. I can't look down and I can't reach in with my mouth to bite the hand. It just wouldn't work, and I guess the same would happen to Noah. It would have to be around the side here on the shoulder so you can lean in, bite. Or someone was reaching out at the time and you went, oh, how look at it. At the end of the day, it depends how you look at it. The possibility that if there was a fight, if there was a form of physicality, and the chances that Noah would have bitten someone's hand. And in all fairness, it did already happen, but in other ways, not as serious. You dial it back to Sunday night when you've got Caden Pressey, who's supposedly accidentally covering Mikey's phone, and Mikey wants to know where it is. Decides to take it out on Noah and fish hook. No. So Mikey's behind, fish hook as in, you get your finger, like pull out. I'm really touching myself today. I'm apologies about that, but this is what demonstrations are all about. You just have to do it. Put the finger into the mouth and pull like that. I've got a taste of a scent now in my bloody mouth. Bloody hell, why did I do that? But when that happened at the time, I've got to stick my finger back in my mouth. And like that. Noah supposedly bit on Mikey's finger. And Mike would have done, like that. Can I get like a bite mark? Just give me a second just to see what it could look like. Like that. Can you see it? Just there. Take in mind, this is all under control. You know, the conditions and what I'm doing. Do not try at home. Just got to do the disclaimer. But you can see like a possible bite mark there. What I probably should have done is focused it on the phone. There you go. You can see the bite mark. That's what it could look like to an extent. Focus back in. There we go. So something like that. In that case, on Mikey's finger. Why did Mikey assume that Noah had something to do with the phone missing? I don't know. But there was already biting taking place at the party. The real question is how much biting actually took place overall. And that's a serious question. When it came to a possible fight breaking out later on. Still always interesting to refer back to the Saturday argument, or late past midnight of Saturday, when I think it was Justin that said that Caden had to break up the fight between Noah and Jack. Was it that bad? So what was the argument like then on the Monday? Because there was that second one, which seems to be forgotten about nowadays, which is unfortunate. You know, you look at the last argument before what happened to Noah happened, and is there a direct correlation to it? Did the argument then lead into a form of physicality like how it supposedly did on Saturday? And this was to finish it off? Who knows? But Noah biting someone as a means of self-defense is quite possible, and maybe other people would. The fact that Noah had done it to Mikey Lair earlier in not as much of a serious situation, it's very possible that Noah may have done it again to somebody else when Noah was truly in danger. You get what I'm saying, right? What it would also highlight is show the level of desperation for Noah and the seriousness of it to want to bite down on someone, which could cause some discomfort to yourself and could damage your teeth, but you don't care in the moment, you just want to break free. Now, I always wonder, not that we've seen direct proof of it, there might be a video clip here and there, but I've just yet to see it. So like when it came to Noah, and bloody hell, this chair keeps tipping over. Am I that heavy? You know, it's a little bit tight, this. Sorry, not the only thing. So if you got Noah and he's teabagging people, okay, like this, at any point did that piss anyone off? Did anyone feel insulted or disrespected? You got to understand, if that happened to the guys that were asleep, as it was referenced, as we've heard previously, and I think by Brooke, it would suggest that the ones asleep wouldn't even know about it unless they were woken up later, but around the time of when Noah was still present in some way. I mean, did Noah teabag anybody else that decided to get revenge because they didn't like it? We've heard that Noah is a bit of a prankster in a way. I'll stand down now because it looks a bit compromising. Ouch. Is there any possibility that, whilst Noah could be a prankster, if he came across the odd stranger that didn't know him too well, didn't understand him the same way, I don't know, mixed signals, messages, and it backfired somehow? Got to look at different ways possible. So I just wanted to jump on in regards to JJ Bumpass too, because when I mentioned that he made a return, that's what supposedly had happened as of like so many hours ago, probably going into last night. And it was on my video called Suspicious Activity, Setting the Record Straight, where basically there was possible party footage, which was a part of a compilation video posted on Avery Combs' TikTok page at some point in the past, and it showed a clip of Avery and maybe Carter, it's hard to keep up with everybody, who were like leaning over a sink covering the nose, and some were suggesting that drugs were being taken, but when I did my analysis, I set the record straight and basically said that they weren't taking drugs, they were simply shotgunning or drinking from a can from the side, whereas leaning over near to the sink area so they didn't spill anything. Now, there were still some other comments by people reacting saying, well, there could have been drugs inside of the can. At the end of the day, I'm no expert on that type of stuff. It just looked like a drinking game and messing about. But the other Dutton, 1 month ago, left a comment saying, Warlike Raf, I have a great picture of JJ Bumpass and Logan Jernigan if you want it for a video you pulled. Now, I don't remember this comment personally. Maybe I didn't read it at the time. In terms of it being a great picture, what does that mean? JJ Bumpass and Logan Jernigan. Logan Jernigan being a party goer and living at the party house at the time. JJ Bumpass with Logan in a relationship or not, who knows? Some say it wasn't the case. Others say it was. But was JJ at the party? Well, in the background, as we've seen, a phone ping suggested that he was. Colton acknowledged and said, yes, JJ was at the party house, and then later retracted it, went back on his words. Bit of a mess, isn't it? Don't know why that comes about. But nevertheless, this supposed picture, JJ says, yeah, what picture is that? Whilst laughing. supposedly JJ and Logan are no longer together, and that's been for like that for some time. Now, we don't need to get into like relationship advice or any expertise there, but just the simple questions of who was where was what, and any relations, connections with one another at the party. Because you've got to take in mind, if Noah had been sleeping next to Logan on the floor and Logan was willing to give up her bed for the chance to sleep next to Noah, possibly. But I think there was some counterpoints with time that said they didn't make it to the bedroom, or at least Logan didn't, and that they passed out or were too tired or too drunk, so they just fell onto the floor and slept there instead. Well, then that would imply some heavy drinking then, and not just the normal being somewhat drunk, but more than drunk. Interesting. But JJ seems to be interested himself, and it was only 10 hours ago responding back to a 1-month-old comment. So it just goes to show that there are supposed partygoers and other people who may not be partygoers but still brought up into the case, who may know others who were partygoers, who may secretly watch my videos. As a little heads up, there's JJ in his pyjamas, or maybe it's his normal clothing, I can't tell. He's kind of like resting on a countertop in a kitchen whilst pointing his hand towards the camera. I don't know if that's like gang signs or like throwing up the guns. I don't know. And it says JJ Bumpass joined 9 years ago. So it's an old account. It's not just a new fake created one. It's got some standing for time. And the recent comments was to one day at a time. The laughing emoji did not change the statement. Buffalo Wild Wings is widely referred to as whatever. Ah, right. Okay. Referring to that. Buffalo Wild Wings when responding back to where they were at a certain time and not at the party house. I believe that's what the context was. But I just wanted to let you know where things are at and that there is still activity from some online. I think we'll leave it there. Just want to give a little brief demonstration and just reiterate points which other people may have forgotten about. There are other videos and ideas that need to be done, but I just didn't want to overload today with what I had done the day before. In the meantime, feel free to check my previous videos out if you haven't already. Click the eye symbol up there to follow there. And feel free to drop your comments below this video and let me know what you think overall. Hopefully you found it somewhat interesting. If you want to share, hit the like button, that'd be appreciated. My name's Warlike Raph. Thanks for watching. Goodbye. Good night for now.